How you doing, folks? Today we're going to make a stuffed pork loin roast, and we're going to stuff it with a sausage stuffing, basically. I got this piece of bread. It's a Tuscan garlic loaf from Publix Groceries. Um, I'm just going to cube it up, put it on a baking sheet, and dry it out a little bit. Use it for my bread in the stuffing. It's a pretty dense loaf, and it's a little crusty. I looked at Pepperidge Farm. They make a bag cornbread mix, herb and garlic mix, a couple other different flavors, and I was going to use that. And I decided it'd be a little fresher if I just made my own like croutons, my own bread for the stuffing. So we're going to cube this up, put it on a baking sheet, drizzle a little extra virgin olive oil on it, pop it in the oven around 250. I don't want to turn it into croutons. I just want to dry it out a little bit and firm it up. So we'll just cut this up. Yeah, this is a pretty dense bread. Still soft in the middle. Nice, got a nice crust to it on the outside. Like I said, we're just going to cube this up. And while this is in the oven drying, we're going to start our base for the stuffing. We're going to start it off with what most Italians do when they're making a sauce or something. I'm going to use a sofrito, diced carrot, celery, and onion. And then we'll put ground sausage in it, get it cooking. Put a little chicken stock in there, deglaze the pan, and then put our breadcrumbs in there, season it up, and make a stuffing. Then we'll cut the meat, and we'll stuff it, we'll tie it up, pop it in the oven. I'm going to use my Dutch oven, a cast iron Dutch oven for this, and I have a trivet that's going to go in the bottom. I'm going to keep the meat off the bottom of the pan, let a little air circulate around it, cook it a little more evenly. This was very good bread. I should have saved a little piece for myself. Made a sandwich out of it. That's okay. It's a little bit more expensive than using, say, like stovetop. And those of you that are regulars at my channel, you know I'm all about freshness. I hate processed foods. And don't get me wrong, I've eaten a lot of stovetop and stuff in my days. And it's very convenient and it tastes good. It's just, if you got the time, make it from scratch. It'll taste a heck of a lot better. And it'll give you the enjoyment of making something from scratch. If you don't have the time, then just buy the Pepperidge Farm bagged stuffing mix. It's basically just this. It's breadcrumbs that's been toasted. All right. We'll get this out of here. We'll get a sheet pan over here. Got a sheet pan. Replace this with a sheet pan. Get breadcrumbs on a sheet pan. Get this all on a single layer. Little extra virgin olive oil, and get a good brand. I mean, you could use a cheaper brand as long as you're using extra virgin, but not all extra virgin olive oils are the same. There's a lot of rip-offs out there. Get a decent brand. You'll end up using less with a good brand than you will a cheaper brand, because a better brand is going to give you a lot more flavor. And not a lot of oil on there, just a little bit. Just a little bit. We're going to put just a touch of salt on here, not a lot. Just a little bit. A little black pepper. Again, this is just not a lot. This is just put a little flavor base into the breadcrumbs. And it's already got garlic in it. It was a garlic bread, a Tuscan garlic bread. And I've got just a little bit of dried oregano. Put a little dried oregano on there. We're going to pop that in the oven. Like I said, like at 250. Just to dry it out. And we'll be back. I'm going to cut up my carrot, onion, and celery. And we'll get that started cooking the base, cooking the sausage. We'll be right back. All right, I got my pan heating up here. Gonna put a little extra virgin olive oil in the bottom. I got my sofrito cut up. That is onion, carrot, and celery. I also have a little bit of garlic minced up. I think that's 3 cloves. We're going to put this right in. This is under medium heat. Now, we don't want to caramelize these vegetables. We just want to sweat them out, give them a little bit soft. I'll get my spatula here. Get onions chopped up a little bit, break them apart. I know this looks like a lot of vegetables, but they will sweat down. We're just going to get them sweated down. Then we'll put I got a mild Italian sausage from Publix. We'll put that in there. And again, we don't want to caramelize the sausage. We just want to cook it down. And I'm going to put a little bit of, just a small amount of tomato paste. Stir that in. And then we're going to add, I've got some chicken stock, unsalted, no non-GMO, no MSG in it. This is 4 cups in that 1 carton. And that should be enough for the bread that we got. Speaking of the bread, I turned the oven off. The bread is still kind of soft, but it's dried out a little bit. And that's what we're looking for. It's dried out, it's getting a little crusty right there. But it's still a little soft. I turned the oven on. And the time that it took me to cut up the sofrito was at 250 on the bread. And that was enough time. Turn the oven off, just left it in the oven. Again, you can use, I hope you don't, but you can use stovetop stuffing or any other brand of box stuffing mix. It'll cut a lot of time off this meal, but again, the amount of preservatives and crap that's in that, it's just not good for you, and it takes away from the enjoyment of sitting at your stove and cooking. Yes, it takes, this meal is probably going to take me a couple hours to put together, and then an hour of cook time, maybe an hour and 20 minutes cook time in the oven with a roast. Let it sit for 10 minutes and then slice it. So it's going to be an afternoon. You're going to have to start this in the afternoon just for dinner time. But the enjoyment you get from making this from scratch is a heck of a lot better. But I understand busy schedules. You want to use stovetop, then you can. You can. You just got to be careful how you salt this, because stovetop has a lot of sodium in it. And you don't get the flavor of the fresh vegetables or the fresh garlic from stovetop. Now you could take stovetop and you could use this instead of water, and it'll give you a much better flavor than just using water and stovetop. Now, unlike the tomato sauce, you're making a tomato sauce for pasta or for chili or anything base, you're going to use sofrito, but you want to sweat these a little softer because you want them to disappear in the sauce. These, I want to be able to have a little crunch to it, but not a lot. Just want to soften them up. Still have a little bit of crunch to it. And we'll let these sweat down a little bit, and we'll be back. All right, we got these vegetables softened up enough, I think. Yep, they're looking good. Like I said, this is going to be a little different than a tomato sauce. You want to soften these up very soft because you want them to disappear in the sauce and just add the base flavor to the sauce. This we want throughout the stuffing, and we want to have a little crunch left. Not so much as a crunch, but we want a little bite to them. We're going to add the sausage in. Said this is just Italian sausage. And again, we don't want any caramelization on the sausage. We just want to cook it through. And we're going to stop the cooking process here by adding a little bit of tomato paste. That'll keep the sausage from caramelizing. Once that tomato sauce or that tomato paste is cooked in a little bit, we're going to deglaze the pan with a little bit of chicken stock, add our breadcrumbs, stir them around, pick up the flavors of everything that's in here. Then we'll add the rest of the chicken stock, stir it around until we add stuff. Get this broken up, get the sausage broken up. And we'll let this go a little bit, and we'll be right back. All right, we got this almost, it's about 2/3 of the sausage, about 2/3 of the way cooked. There's still a little bit of rare pieces in there. So this is when we're going to add, not a lot. This is just stuffing. It's not just about a decent tablespoon. We're going to get this all mixed in there because you always want to cook your tomato paste. Again, once this starts melding into this base, the tomato paste starts melding in, it'll keep the sausage from caramelizing. It'll continue to cook through. This is where we're going to add our garlic. And this is when we're going to season this a little bit. Of course, my staple, a little garlic powder, a little onion powder, I have a little bit of coriander here, not a lot, a little bit of coriander. Of course, the black pepper, a little crushed red, not a lot. Sausage was mild. If it was hot sausage, I wouldn't put the crushed red pepper in. And a good amount of Italian, not Italian seasoning, sorry, just oregano. Get them spices sweated in there, heating up, so they can release all their flavors. Now we're going to deglaze this pan with about a cup of the stock. We'll let that come back up to temp. We'll put our breadcrumbs in. We may not use all these breadcrumbs. Since they've been sitting in the oven's been off ever since I started cooking this pot. The breadcrumbs they're still a little soft. Still a little bit soft, but they've dried out. They definitely have a nice little crunch to them. Definitely a nice little crunch to them. It's like we're bubbling in there a little bit. We're going to put about half our breadcrumbs in. Maybe a little over half our breadcrumbs. Let them start absorbing that moisture a little bit. And if you don't end up using all these breadcrumbs, don't throw them away. You could put them in a bag, get all the air out of them. You could freeze them, leave them in your fridge, use them, and then rebake them and use them for croutons on a salad. Maybe just a small handful more. About 2 more cups. That's about 3 cups total so far. We're going to put a lid on this. Turn this down about a 2 low. And I have a little bit of breadcrumbs reserved over here if I have to use them. And I have another cup here of chicken stock. And we'll let this go for a few minutes. We'll be right back. All right, this has been going a few minutes. We're going to check it. Breadcrumbs are absorbed all that moisture. Off camera, I did add another small handful. I ended up using 3 cups of chicken stock and almost an entire loaf. We're going to turn the heat off, take it off the stove. We're going to leave the lid on it. We're going to let this cool. And hit that notification bell, because I'm going to do this in a couple of parts. My next video is going to be how to slice the pork roast and fill the stuffing and tie it up, and then we'll cook it. So I hope you enjoy. And you don't have to use the stuffing for this roast. You could use the stuffing for a turkey, a chicken, or just on the side. You can make a nice little gravy with it, mashed potatoes, stuffing. You know, the holidays are coming up. I hope you use this recipe for all your stuffing. And we'll see you in part 2, hopefully. Thank you.